Scrap More with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with an episode of Mini Monday. Yay, it's Mini Monday! And I'm laughing because my husband and I are discussing what we're going to call this block. It's H and cross, right? But it sounds like ancient cross, which is not what it is. And then he suggests we call it crotch and H. And it's just like, and then when we wrote it out, it looks like hand cross. So this one is, there's two different blocks in here, and you can call, I'm going to call it H, like the letter H, and a cross. So you guys can, you know, you'll find it eventually here on the playlist. But this one is, there's two fun blocks putting together, and it's going to be so much fun. It's nice, simple, easy, and it's a good way to learn some small piecing techniques. So before we get too far into this, let's do our shout outs. Debra at String and Scissors and Lisa at Shadow Valley Quilts. Both of these ladies are on my radar for the shout outs, and they're both having just such a wonderful time, and they provide such great content. You guys gotta go check them out and give them some more words of encouragement. If you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button for them, because it's kind of a fun way of, you know, of bringing joy to other people. And you know, what's the best way we can do this is help out other quilting channels. So also making comments, like, share, subscribe, hitting the bell, doing the thumbs up. I guess there's a thing now called hype. Yes, please do that for me. We would love to continue bringing you free fun patterns such as H and cross, or cross and H, or ancient cross. Like, it's funny. It was just funny, right? It was funny when we were talking about this. So yeah, if you guys want us to continue doing this, this would help us along, and we'd be able to spread some more free fun patterns throughout the YouTube world. Also, we have a Facebook group, and it's a virtual sewing room. It's hosted by Discord. We have so much fun in there. It is just, every time I go in there, I laugh, and we have just a great time. There's also community chats. There are numerous ones, and they're all a lot of fun too. There's fabric exchanges by country to keep the postal costs down, and the admins have asked. They've begged me to say, when you want to come in, you're part of the Facebook community, and you want to come join that group, please answer the questions. That's very important, and agree to the rules. If you don't do both, they're not letting you in, and they will tell you that you have to do this, right? So, you know, it's kind of, we're trying to keep the room safe, the group safe, and the Discord room safe. So that, keep those things in mind, what we're trying to do as well. Also, I speak for free to quilting guilds or quilting groups about elements of design, making charity quilts, and of course working with scrap fabric. And we have a great time doing that. Now, as the end of December 2025, we're going to have a second one. Now, if you want me for either one, or you've had me before and you want me to hear the second one, please let me know through either email, and you can find that on my About tab, or you can message me through the Facebook group. Either one is fine. Also, if you guys have shout outs that are, you know, quilting channels that are having a good time and are having something interesting to say, please let us know. Again, you know, Facebook message or email. I'd be happy to take it. Now, once Quilt Bingo is done, there's a Quilt Bingo here. There's a couple more episodes to drop. And we're going to start a sew-along called Twinkle Twinkle. Save your strings. It's going to be fun. And if you don't have strings, it's okay to use your fabric stash or your fat quarters or whatever, or, you know, that it's fine. Right. Excuse me. Mini Monday is back with some changes, and of course I'm crying now. I don't know why I'm crying. It's like my allergies are so bad at this time of year. Mini Monday is back with some changes. We're doing not just foundation paper piecing, but we're doing small piecing like this. We're doing English paper piecing, some hand piecing, and of course the foundation paper piecing. And our Zoom sew dates are the first Saturday of every month from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada. So I think we're done. Come on in and we'll get to the sewing of H and cross. Okay, Mini Monday. So this is the H, this is the H block, and this is the cross block, right? So I decided I'm going to play around with this and just put them together, right? And instead of, you know, having just an H block and then a cross block later, we put them together, and then you can see how these are assembled, you know, individually, and then we'll put it together as a 4-patch. But I thought they kind of looked similar but different enough that it would make an interesting block. So how you sew this one? You're going to sew all the hard bits, all the little bits first. And we've got that really lovely 1/4 inch going on here on my sewing machine, so I'm pretty happy about that. So you're going to take all the little pieces first and make them bigger. Oh, yeah. My husband and I are still talking about H block or hand cross. Oh my god, it's like silly. It gets silly sometimes. Yeah, so I picked my palette of grays and pinks, and I thought, okay, this would make a nice little quilt for somebody. You know, a charity quilt is you gotta make them fun sometimes. I would imagine this quilt will probably end up in a woman's shelter, but, you know, it's nice to have something to give them that's a little special just for them. You know? Okay. Alright. Okay, so now go back. We press to the dark. Okay, we're pressing to the dark on both of these. On all of these, actually, we're pressing to the dark. And we're just going to grab the other side. Yeah, this one was easy to cut. Easy cutting, easy this, easy that. It was like, oh, so nice. So nice. And then we do these 4. Now you can change the size of these, which is kind of a, you know, if you wanted a bigger block, you could definitely change the size of these and still be, you know, instead of using 1.5 inch strips, you could just use like 2-inch strips, right? And you have to give a little more length, right? So yeah. So if you use 2-inch, like if you use 2-inch strips, right now you're, let me think about this. How is that going to work for the center now? 2-inch, 2 by 2, 3.5, 4.5. So yeah, these would have to be 2 by 4.5, and then 2-inch squares if you wanted to do that, and move out a bunch of smaller scraps, because this is a good one for smaller scraps too, right? Or you could go 4.5 and then have, no, yeah, 6.5, sorry, 6.5 by 2.5 squares, right? So that, you know, there's ways you can get around this and start, you know, doing stuff that's a little different. Again, press to the dark. Press to the dark. Always press to the dark. Especially when you're using a really pale pink. I decided I was going to play around with this and have a bit of fun. So, hopefully I'll remember to write down all the sizes for you guys. So, if you want to do something a little larger, you could. You know, just, it's kind of a fun idea to play with these. But, it's up to you. There. At this size, 3.5 by 1.5, all of these blocks will be finished at 3 or unfinished at 3 and unfinished at 3.5. So these are, like I say, nice little. They're smaller blocks, but they're fun. Okay, here we go. Last one in, and we just start here. There we go. There, press that in, just like so. Now this should be working out perfect, because you've got the 1.5 inch squares. You should have it without having to do any stretching, right? So I'm just going to flip up this all up and in, and this all up and in. There we go. Now, you know how sometimes when you have stuff that's a little big and you have to get your feed dogs to do the work to make sure that, you know, everything feeds in correctly. On smaller piecing like that, your feed dogs, yes, can account for some of the, you know, squaring up and making sure the stuff is square and everything's matching up the right way. But you have to be more accurate in your pressing, not ironing, pressing. There's a difference. And your you have to be more precise in your cutting and your piecing, because what happens is your feed dogs have got such a short length to go over. You know, people start to rely on their feed dogs, you know, because they're cutting and they're doing stuff in a hurry. Well, when you're doing small piecing, by small piecing, you have to kind of think about this a little differently. Okay, now out that way, there. Okay, oh wait, I should go, yeah, no, that's going out. Okay, and then we make the H blocks. You just pick up the next piece that needs to go on these, and they all work out amazingly. Okay, and now we come into an issue. Okay, wait a minute, how is that going? Oh, that's going in, it's got to go in. Never mind, it's got to go in. It's got to go in. Okay, let me get another leader ender on. I'll show you what I'm doing here. Hang on, hang on. Okay, when you're pressing to the dark, these little gray squares can cause some issues, right? These little gray ones right here. But the reality is, you know, it is a dark, and this is pink, and it's going to show through, right? So now, what you want to do is this got pressed out, these seams here. So you want to match them up with the ones that are going to be pressed in. Right, so this goes in and that goes out. So now you're going to have a nice little nest. And the other direction doesn't matter because it's going up against a solid. So let's do this. Sew this together like a quick little 4-patch. Hang on. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Everything now lies nested. Oops, let's go that way. Oh, I ran out of bobbin. Okay, just a sec. Do I have another bobbin? Of course not. Why would I have another bobbin? I'm going to have to stop the film here and get more bobbin. Hang on. Okay, so I ended my bobbin chicken ended on my leader ender. So we'll just keep going forward now that I have a new one to work with. So I'm just going to put this down under the machine and make sure everything lines up. And what's underneath this is just a piece, like a rectangle, solid rectangle. So I don't have to worry about anything. Now, going to go like this. And there we go. Nice and neat. Easy, easy, easy. I'll get another leader ender. Yes, I've got some crazy fabrics here. Like, wow. Okay. There we go. Now, webbing them together. Now you see how they will nest, right? This will nest. This other side will nest, right? Because one is going in and one is going out. So that's perfect. So now we're just going to take this and line everything up nice and neat. We're going to have some wonderful sharp points. Let me get this cut open now. Just that crosshair. So I can get right in there and I can open this up and I can see what I'm doing and get this beautiful sharp crisp point, or get everything lines to match up perfectly. There. Oh, we should probably, yeah, we're going to go to this side. There we go. And again with this. There we go. And again with this. There. Now let's get another leader ender. We've had lots of these. Oh my goodness. It's fun to do the little leader enders, and then half of your sewing is already done if you're doing crumb blocks. So I just pulled out crumbs. So now I'm going to take this. I'm going to, where are we? So there's where we met. I'm going to take this and just spin it like that. Just pop open that little 4-patch there. So everything now will lie this way. And you just finger press it out of the way. Finger press like so. And you finger press like so. And, okay, so what's happened is you're sewing them and you're pressing to the dark on all of these, right? No, on this one you're pressing to the darks. This is what makes this block work, is now that you have all this nesting. So you have all these sharp, crisp points that are matching up. And that's what's going to make your block outstanding and special. Right? So let me give this a good, nice little press with my clapper, and we will see you at the ta-da moment. So here's our Mini Monday H and cross. H, the letter H, letter H here and cross, right? I thought these two blocks would look perfect together. You can make an entire quilt just out of one block or 2 blocks or whatever, and you can play with your values of darks and lights, or mediums and lights, and you would just have a beautiful quilt, right? Like the H's you can play around with. You do the mediums and the lights, or your darks and your mediums. I mean, however you want to play this. Both of these are excellent scrap busters. Excellent scrap busters, and they're perfect for a leader ender project as well. So you end up with something a little different. Doesn't matter which one you do, whether you do all the crosses or all H's or you mix them up together, it's fine. So this one I am hoping you're trying. This one worked out for me to be right on the money on 6.5 inches when I put all 4 of them together. And then I pressed them so that they would lay really flat. Remember, you're only making, you're going to make mistakes when you're doing your mini piecing by sewing machine, is either in the cutting, the sewing, or the pressing. So this one didn't have to be pressed open because everything was working well, right? So that was a big godsend. So I do hope you have a really great week ahead, and life is going awesome for you. So you take care and you stay well until we see each other again. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.